Okay, so the goal for today is mostly to get through the syllabus. Then we're going to do a few notes. I'm going to make sure I have a timer so I don't keep you over our class meeting. We get out at 2:45. So the syllabus is in Canvas, but I also am going to share it with you. There we go. Find you guys. All right, so this is Math 10, Section 20, Essentials of Algebra, Fall 21. I'm Cassandra Walker, or I go by Cassie. There's my email. You'll need the class number if you're trying to add the class. We're going to meet Tuesdays and Thursdays from 1:30 to 2:45 using Zoom, and I'm going to record each meeting and post it to the modules in Canvas. That's later in the syllabus. Okay, there's a link to Zoom in Canvas, but here's also the link and the meeting ID to our class. And then I have office hour Monday, Wednesday from 1 to 2:30. Or anytime you want to schedule an appointment, you can use the office hour. So here's that link and its meeting ID. So office hours are on Zoom. And here's the catalog description. So Math 10 is for non-STEM majors who need to take intermediate algebra. Math 12 is for STEM majors. Let's see, that'll be a little bit later. But if you're a STEM major, science, engineering, mathematics, you should be taking Math 12. If you're unsure, stay till the end of class and let me know if you think you need to be in a different class or if you think that your major is a STEM major. You need someone to check. So let's see, let's go through the catalog description a little bit. We're going to start with review. So these things we see should be a bit familiar at first. Later on, when we get to like factoring, quadratics, graphing different functions, solving systems, it'll be a little trickier, but like I said, we'll build up to that place and end with logarithmic expressions. You will receive a letter grade, but that grade does not count towards B4 math concepts. So the class does count for unit, but not credit towards graduation. It prepares you for a class that does get that credit for B4 math concepts. The prerequisites for Math 10. So this is a class for non-STEM majors to prepare for classes like Math 17, 107A, Math 24, or Stat 1. So if you need to take a class like this, like Stat 1, Math 10 will prepare you for that class. If you need to take Math 26A, Math 29, Math 30, or Math 30, you should be in Math 12, which is similar but different to Math 10. That class is just going to have different topics that will prepare you for these kinds of classes, pre-calc and calc and such. Okay, expected learning outcomes. So as we move through the semester, we're going to learn basic algebra skills, factor, use exponents, solve equations, inequalities, solve a quadratic equation, solve absolute value equations, and then work with logarithmic expressions. And that's the end of our topics. For class, I will be at every scheduled meeting, but I do not require attendance. I think it's good for you to be at the meeting. It helps with letting me know which topics need more examples, or like if you have questions, I can answer them right there. But I will record our meetings and then post them to Canvas in the modules. So if you miss class or if you're late, you can watch the notes later. Okay, please keep up with class, with homework, with quizzes. Don't let your assignments pile up. But if they do pile up, let me know. I can work with you and I can give you an extension, because the goal of this semester is to practice and build our math skills. Okay, for this class, things to buy, or things you need. You will need to buy access or to buy an access code. You can, it depends. If you want to go to the bookstore, it usually costs like $5 more than it would cost if you just pay online. But that's just from what I've heard. So you need to buy access to the online homework, which is xyzhomework.com. I'll go over that later. Just mentioning that access costs $45 and it's good for a year. You do not need to buy the textbook. It is a very large and expensive book that we only, we go through most of the material, but not the whole book. And you have access to the ebook, the same material, which we'll look at the ebook later. But you have that in your program, your online homework program. Making our way through the syllabus. Onto course structure. So most of the class is on Canvas. We have Zoom meetings, which are linked to Canvas. I'll put the meetings in the modules in Canvas. I'm going to use the quiz tab in Canvas to give you a quiz. You have a quiz already, which I'll talk about once we're done with the syllabus. And XYZ homework is your online homework, which is on another website. I'll show you what that looks like. For assignments, you'll have weekly quizzes most of the time, and online homework will also be weekly, usually due on Tuesdays, or always due on a Tuesday. For a quiz, I'm sure I'll give you a few days to work through the quiz. It will be on Canvas, and you'll have a week to turn it in. You could work with each other, but your responses should be in your own words and should be your own response, your own thoughts. Online homework, again, is on xyzhomework.com. Each assignment is due on Tuesday at 11:59. Each problem has 3 tries. And then once you miss the problem, you can choose to do a similar question and still get points for that missed question. Exams. I have chosen to post exams on Canvas. There will be 2. We'll have a few days to do each test. So your first test, I will put up the night that a homework assignment is due. So you'll turn in homework on Tuesday night. And then at that time, test 1 will become available on Tuesday, September 28th. And you can work through the weekend, finish it by Monday at midnight. And that way we can come back on Tuesday and start going through more material and doing more homework. And do the same kind of thing. After a few homeworks, we will turn in homework Tuesday night and have an exam available on November 2nd. We'll work on it until Monday, November 8th. It needs to be done by midnight, and then we can come back to class Tuesday and keep moving through material, keep doing homework until the final, which you'll work on during finals week. So at the end of week 15, I'll post your test. We'll work on it through week 16, and it needs to be done by Friday, December 17th. Cool. Let's go on to talking about the homework and how to get there, and then I'll actually show you what that looks like. So I went ahead and made an account as a student. You need to have an email address. Whichever address that you choose, it's just going to be your username. And you need to have the class code. Our code for this class is 30115. I'll bring that up later. Okay, that code will help you to get to my class or our class. So you visit xyzhomework.com, click register as new student. I will walk you through that in a moment. You create an account, and then you go back to the home page and log in. You click enroll. Also, I missed this part here. There's going to be a warning that your free trial has begun. You have a 15-day free trial. After that, you'll have to pay for access. It's $45 to get unlimited courses for 1 year of XYZ homework. Okay, so you get that warning and go on to finding our class using our course ID. Then enroll, and then you'll see my name and our class. Click on that. It will take you to the homework, which will have a calendar with homework assignments and an ebook right underneath the calendar. It says here, in your online homework program, under the calendar is the ebook. Almost done with the syllabus. Quizzes are going to be 15% of your grade. They'll be sort of short, like 5 questions or so each time. Homework is on xyz.com. It's 20% of your grade. Oh, cool. Oh yeah. By the way, if you're ever late to class, don't worry. I try to remember to record once we start. So we'll post this meeting tonight. Okay, back to test 1 being 20% of your grade. Test 2, 20% of your grade. The final exam will be cumulative and it's 25% of your grade. And then once you have a grade, I will assign a letter grade using this scale. And then at the end is a little information about what's available at CSUS. First is testing accommodations for students with disabilities. So if you need to, or if you feel like you should contact services for students with disabilities, or if you have questions about that, let me know. For student health and counseling, the WELL offers a lot of different programs like eye care, health care, counseling, all sorts of programs at the WELL. And the last one is CARES, for anyone with challenges finding financial challenges like food or housing. Contact CARE for some support. CARES, CARES. And we're going to go back to class. And right there, okay. Cool. And I have some math help, which I'll send information about soon. But first, just let you know that there's the math lab. Which is also on Zoom, but it's usually, it was in Brighton last time I was at school. There's PAL, Peer Assisted Learning, which again, I'll send some info on each of these. There is Commit to Study. So all 3 of these will help you with math, and they are free, provided by the school, or just, students, tutors, people working together to help get through the semester. All right, well, what's next? Let's go to the homework site. So we're going to check out xyz.com, xyzhomework.com. Cool. So this is the homepage. For your first visit, you'll want to go to register as a new student. I've already registered and created an account. Again, you need a username for that part. And then once you have an account, you can log in. To use that student name. See, we're at my homepage and I get this alert. It's about the free trial ending. So I made my account yesterday and that's going to end in 15 days. And when access ends, I'd have to pay for access. Oops. So you enroll in a new class, and at that part is where you would enter the class code, which will bring up this link to Math 10. Oh, cool. We can add Math 10 section 20. So your course ID is in the syllabus. Let's see. 30115. In the course, you've enrolled in the course. Turn to main page. Sweet. So this is our class, Math 10 section 20. And you click there to get to our homework. Homework is in this calendar, and you have to actually select the icon, homework 1, which you can start to work on today. It's due a week from today. Once you hit homework 1, you get this link to homework 1, and then click on that to see the problems. If you want to try a tutorial for submitting your answers, let me know. I have an assignment somewhere for that. It won't be part of your grade. It will just help you practice using the program. But you would enter an answer here, click submit at the bottom. After 3 tries, right about the top of the problem, at the bottom of the problem, it will explain the solution. And at the top of the problem, you'll have a button that says try a new problem. Try a similar but different problem until you get credit. Okay, side note, your assignments.
I have a question.
Yeah, for sure.
Do we have to do all 25 like for one homework, or is it like question 1 through 5? Or
It's all 25. As it's about to say, you have to, it has 25 questions. It's kind of a long assignment.
okay.
If you need more time, write an email to me or let me know, and I can put an extension. But,
Okay, thank you.
yeah, no problem. It used to be, or in a previous semester, there were a lot of small assignments, and this time we're going to have 12 kind of long assignments. Okay, so let's go back to the homepage for this class. Underneath the calendar is the ebook. So if you click here, you'll see the textbook, and on the side, on the right side, are examples. Each example has a video of someone explaining the problem, and there's a few people to choose from for each example. So this will usually be on the side, videos of explanations from different tutors. On the top left are your chapters, and we're going to cover different chapters until we reach chapter 13. Logarithmic functions. Okay. So back to class. Is there anything else we need to talk about? Oh, yes, we're going to visit Canvas next. So in Canvas will be quizzes and exams. You have what I'm going to just go ahead and call quiz 1, but it's a math, bio, and pre-assessment. As long as you attempt the quiz, you'll get full credit. This is for me to know if you should be in Math 10, or if you maybe need Math 12, or if there's topics that need extra examples. So I made it due tomorrow night, September 1st at 11:59 p.m. The first 5 questions are get to know you questions. The other questions are math questions. If you don't know how to solve the problem, you can put a question mark or put help or I don't know, just some kind of response will let me know if you are needing to take Math 12, basically. Okay, the sooner we figure that out, the better. That way you can just switch, drop this class, add that class, and get it taken care of during the first week of school. And I think that's that. That quiz, it is a diagnostic quiz, so please do your own work. Don't use any books, don't use any help. Just let me know where you're at right now. Okay, I want to show you that quiz photo first. All right, I've got it. Cool. So we're at Math 10, Section 20 on Canvas. The quiz will be in your to-do list on the side. It's also in the assignments tab. So you would click here to take this quiz, or you can go to quizzes there. And we'll check it out. So please try this quiz today or tomorrow and complete it by midnight tomorrow night. It will be part of your grade, but as long as you attempt the quiz, you will get full credit. There's no time limit once the quiz starts. You can take it multiple times. I'll try to write responses, but I'm mostly going to look quickly for people who I think need to be in Math 12. And also just to see how you guys feel about certain topics. All right, I think that's it. We are ready to do some notes. Is Math 12 like lower or higher? It's similar but different. It's got different topics. Like we're gonna do, well, they're gonna do some trig instead of some of the topics we're gonna do. We're not gonna do any trig in this class. So yeah, I think it's kind of the same, but there's like a few topics in our class that aren't in theirs, and they've got a few topics in their class that isn't in ours. So if you're trying to prepare for one of the classes listed in the syllabus, though, I would say take Math 10. It's a little bit, I'm not going to say easier. It's just different. It's similar but different. But it's definitely going to help you with those classes, Stat 17, 1 of 7A, 24, or Stat 1. I've taught Stat 1. If you're taking Stat 1, I would say take Math 10 to get ready. Okay, cool. So notes. A little more chit chat before we do notes. So the last time I taught Math 10 face-to-face, or before going online, we would do a worksheet in groups. So this time with Zoom meetings, I'm going to give you guided notes for the homework, but I will also work through problems from worksheets, post the worksheets. You can try them for practice, and then I also have an answer key. So if you see a worksheet, it's not part of grading, it's part of practicing. Today, we're just going to do stuff that gets you ready for homework 1. or will help you with homework 1. Okay, cool. So I think the syllabus, I have a question about what's the main focus for Math 10? I'm going to probably use the syllabus to help, but I've done this quite a few times. We start with basics, like a review of basic algebra. We're going to go over factoring. I have like 1 or 2 cool tricks for factoring that you might not have seen before. We will talk about exponents. We will solve inequalities and graph inequalities. We will solve systems of equations, and we will work with log functions and logarithmic expressions. We will not be doing any trig, and we won't be doing any, they're called, I guess it's called rational expressions. We won't go too far into rational expressions. So basically it's intermediate algebra, and it will prepare you for a class that will satisfy your math general education requirement. Okay. And okay, for the person asking questions, if you feel like you know those topics, talk to me after class and I can help find the next class that you may want to enroll in. Otherwise, we're going to stay here and practice. Okay, so bear with me for some notes, but I do have a timer. I will make sure we don't stay over time. Yeah. Oh, and I guess also maybe if you feel that you don't need extra math practice, maybe write an email to me, take that practice quiz. Basically, we should talk. But I do want to take it nice and slow and make sure I explain lots of things fully, so I don't want to rush and, be cool and mellow through the notes. As cool as I could be. So we start out at the beginning with something like multiplying fractions. To multiply fractions. Multiply across the numerator for each fraction, and then multiply across the denominator and simplify your answer. Same for denominators. Simplify your answer. This also. So we're going to do one, just 2/3 times 1/4. So let's try. This is my symbol for writing an example. So example of 2/3. Multiply this 1/4. 2 times 1 over 3 times 4. At this point, I would factor 4. 2 times 1 is 2, is over 3 times 2 times 2. Any number over itself reduces to 1. So if you've got 2 over 2, this is going to be simplified and written as 1. Okay, and then what's left in the numerator is 1 over 3 times 2. 1/6. Okay, so it's just my style to put my answers in a square. You don't have to do that, especially since you're going to be typing responses most of the time. And what else? We want to put something like note for any non-zero number x. We have x over x equal to 1. So if you put a number over itself, it reduces to 1. Like, let's do 7 over 7. That's one. Put 201 over 201. Let's do something like 20 times 3/5. Another trick you can use is a number over 1 is the same number. So if it helps, which it helps me, 20 over 1 times 3 over 5. That way I know it's 20 times 3 over 1 times 5. And I could go ahead and just multiply across numerators, multiply my denominators, and then factor. But I like to factor and then multiply remaining factors after I reduce common factors. Let's do that. Okay, so you're going to factor 20. Let's do 4 times 5. 4. That's what I would do. You can, of course, solve the problem in another way and get the same answer. Okay, this one stays the same, 3/5. 5 over 5 reduces to 1, which you can cancel them, or you can, I put an arrow through them sometimes. That works. So 4 times 3 over 1 is 12 over 1, which is 12. Okay, next we want to talk about dividing fractions. So if you remember, you take the first fraction, and instead of dividing by the second fraction, you multiply by the reciprocal of the second fraction. Multiply the first fraction by the reciprocal of the second fraction. Next one is going to be an example of, oh, also, we'll put down, you want to simplify your answer if you can. Simplify if possible. Okay, now let's go here with 49/81 divided by 7/9. Okay, so the first fraction stays. And then instead of dividing, we change to multiply by the reciprocal, 9/7. Factor and cancel common factors between the numerator and denominator, which is another way of saying that a number over itself is going to reduce to 1 and lead us to a simplified answer. So 7 times 7 is 49. So over 9 times 9. 9 and a 7. So you've got 7/7, which reduces to 1. 9/9 also simplifies to 1. And that 7 is still a numerator. There's a 9 down in the denominator. So again, this day is a review day. But if you ever want to do more examples, let me know. We can do, I can make up some during class, or we can come back next time and cover a topic further. Okay. Let's keep going through my notes with 1/2 divided by 5. So again, I would put 5/1. It helps read the problem and know kind of where things need to be. So when I find the reciprocal, I will have a 1/5. So 1/2 times 1/5. 1 times 1 is 1. 2 times 5 is 10. Let's do something else. So the next topic is adding and subtracting fractions, which means you need a common denominator. So you adding and subtracting fractions requires a common denominator, and I suggest finding the least common denominator. So okay, so we're going to go over finding the least common denominator, but to save time, we're going to write LCD, so least. Just an acronym. So we'll talk about least common denominator. And then once we've practiced that a little bit, we'll come back to adding and subtracting fractions using that denominator. Let's talk about steps for finding least common denominator. Steps for the LCD. So the steps may seem kind of confusing, but after we do examples, I hope it will be clear. The first thing you should do is factor each denominator. Okay, next. For every factor, find the most, or let's find the most of each factor for the LCD. Okay, so the LCD. I'll show you what I mean once we start to practice. Third step. Multiply all of those factors together to get the LCD. So as you may, if hopefully, well, I suggest that you take notes. I think that writing things down helps with memory. It kind of just helps know where you have questions. And I just think that it's good to bring a notebook, or when you watch the guided notes, take notes. But anyway, I want to give a moment for anyone who's writing. And
Professor Walker, would you mind moving your screen a little bit or moving the whiteboard just so the whole thing is visible?
yeah, what, like maybe for the back?
Yeah, like to the right a little bit.
This way, wait, this
Other way.
way. Better?
Okay, perfect, thank you.
Okay, for sure. Yeah, anything like that, just let me know. Okay. So we're gonna do a factor tree on every single denominator. For any factor that we see, pick the most of that factor. Even if it's just one, pick that one. Take all of these factors from part 2, multiply them together, and that is the LCD. First one we'll do is 1/24. We're going to write this expression. We're not going to solve it. We're just going to do scratch work for the LCD. So it's 1/24 minus 2/18. And we don't need to find the answer. We just want the LCD. So like for this expression, find the LCD. Let's put that. So for the first fraction, factor the denominator. 24 is 2 times 12. 12 is 2 times 6 is 2 times 3. Then do that to all of your fractions. So over here, take this denominator, start to break it down. 18 is like 2 times 9, which will put 9 as 3 times 3. So the factors that you're looking at are 2s and 3s, or 2 and 3. This denominator has 3 of the factor 2. Over here, there's just 1 of that factor 2. So you want this side with all 3 of that factor. 3 of these. So the most of the factor 2. Then you check out the factor 3. There's 1 of them on this side, 2 of them on that side. So this side has the most, 2 of the factor 3. Let's see, this is 8 times 9, which is like 7. If you ever have an answer, just shout it out or share it in the chat. Sometimes I get a little stuck. But we can figure things out together. Same thing for mistakes. If you ever see a mistake or have a question, we can stop and check what's happened during a class meeting. Okay, I think we're going to go back to talking about adding and subtracting fractions. And then we can do examples where we actually solve problems, do this as scratch work, and then simplify our answer. Back to adding and subtracting fractions. We want to multiply every single fraction by missing LCD factors in the numerator and denominator. Let's do this. Any factors that are missing from the LCD? When you do that, the result will have fractions that all have a common denominator. They'll all have the least common denominator. And then you can add or subtract. Once you have your common denominator, add or subtract across the numerator. I'm going to put over the numerator. Add or subtract in the numerator. Add or subtract the numerators over the common denominator. Okay, First example is to take 1/24. I think we did this one. Right. Oh, I just continued to solve that problem. It's cool. Let's go on to a new one. 1/15 plus 1/25. Okay, so you have to find the LCD, and then to each fraction, okay, multiply by missing LCD factors to the top and the bottom of the fraction. Okay, let's scratch like this. So over here, we'll find the LCD. Up in the problem, we're going to factor. 3 times 5 is 15. 25 is 5 times 5. One of the factors you need is 5. This side has 1 5. This side has 2 5s. Choose the most. So choose 2 of the factor 5. Multiply all of it together. The other factor is 3. There's 1 3. That's part of your LCD. So 25 times 3 is 75. So you take your first fraction, 1/15. Multiply with missing factors. You have 3 and 5. This one and this one. You're missing a 5. Add 1/25 multiplied with its missing factors. 25 is 5 times 5, and you need a factor of 3. Okay, so I just want to comment on the chat. So if you have done the quiz and you are comfortable with that, that's good news. If you're concerned about maybe taking a different class, again, stay till the end of the recording, and then we can talk about taking this class or not. Back to this problem, I also want to talk from here to here. Actually, we'll just work this next from here to here. So this number 1/15 is sitting right here. We're multiplying by a fancy number 1, and any number times 1 is still the same number. So even though it looks different, this is still the same number. Same for this fraction and this expression, they're the same. It's 1/25 times 1, but 1 is written as 3/3. So I haven't changed the problem. I just gave myself common denominators of 75. Okay, so 5 plus 3, 75 plus 8. Okay. I have a lot of these examples, and actually I think this is what we're doing until we run out of class time. And we'll come back to the next class to do some more homework type. Yeah. Next, we will take stick to it. It's 1/15 and add 1/25. Oh, we just did it. Okay, cool. So we're at 10/4 plus 5/12. Let's find the LCD somewhere on the side. Okay, so you factor every denominator. Well, there's only two to consider. This one, this one. 4 is 2 times 2. 12 will do 3 times 4, which is 2 times 2. One of the factors is 2. This side has 2 2's, that side has 2 2's. We're going to choose 2 2's. There's a factor of 3 over here, so we need that 3 in the LCD. Then, that's some scratch work too. You probably would, you could leave it in pencil or leave it in your notebook, but if it were maybe, I don't know, nice write-up of homework, maybe erase this scratch part factor tree. If actually, scratch that. You can leave it, erase it, it's fine. Showing your work is always, I think, a good thing. Okay, we need to find missing factors. So 10 over 4 has the 2 2's, but we don't have 3. We're missing 3. Do that to the numerator and denominator. 12 has all the factors. You just leave it how it is. So this is 30 over 12. 5 over 12. You get 30 plus 5 over 12. 30. I'm sorry. Thanks. Just thinking we're doing really well on time. Got like another 15 minutes, so we may leave a little early, but I don't know. I have other sections of Math 10, and we didn't have as much time to cover the notes as this class. Okay, we still have examples like 9/10 minus 3/4. We'll leave it how it is, and then I'll make up an example after this one, and we'll probably call it good for today. All right, so we want to do the next step, but first let's find a common denominator in some scratch work, and I like to find the least common denominator. Factor 10. For the factor of 2, we're going to choose this side with 2 2's. There's a factor of 5, just one of them. 4 times 5, that's 20. So your first fraction, the missing LCD factors are 2. You have 5, a 2, and you're missing a 2. 4 has 2 2's, but it's missing 5. Alrighty, 18 over 20 is that first fraction. We're subtracting 15, 20, all goes in the numerator over the least common denominator. We got 3 over 20. Okay, let's Okay, so this is the problem from earlier. I was going to just skip actually solving it, but it is kind of interesting of an answer. So we had 1/24 minus 2/18. Alrighty, 24 factors into 2 times 12, factor 12. $18. So I'm gonna write 2 times 9. Let's start with the factor 2. It's this side with 3 2's versus that 1 2 on the other side. So 3 2's multiplied together. For 3, there are 2 3's over here, so choose the most of the factor 3. This was 72. Okay. So you take your first fraction, multiply numerator and denominator by missing LCD factors. So you've got 2, 2, 2, and 3. 2, 2, 2, 3. You need that missing 3. $18 has a 2, a 3, and a 3. This part. So you're missing 2 times 2. 4/4. Multiplied with 8. Oof. Okay. First fraction multiplied with fancy number 1. Next step. So just for space, I'm going to erase the factor tree. Here with 3/72, subtract 8/72. So you got 3 minus 8, it's over 72. -5. And oh, yikes. Sorry, I was reading a comment. I think, see, it said not simplify. I might, if we could have simplified a problem, then we should have. Sorry, I missed the comment on the chat, but let me see if I've got it in my notes. I had a problem that had like 3/20 and said do not simplify 20. Well, I'm sorry I missed the question, but maybe at the next class I could hopefully, it was okay, do some more examples and this will be very clear. For now, I feel like I wanted to talk about the negative sign really quick, and then we'll do like one last example that I'll make up at the end. So what was that? It was a -5/72. So just talking about the symbol, the negative sign makes this number negative, and it could be in the numerator. You could put it down here in the denominator, or you can put it out front, a whole fraction. long as there's a negative sign somewhere in the number, that's a negative number. Okay, last one. Let's try something with like 3 fractions in it. Let's do something over 9 plus. We'll go 1 over 90. That works. Minus 2 over, let's see, something. I keep wanting to say some multiple of 5. Let's do 20. Okay, that's good enough. So we want to factor every denominator to find the LCD. Factoring 9. 3 times this is 9 times 10. Well, let's do. It's cool. So we can branch off from each of these. So 9 factors into 3 times 3. And over here, this 10 factors into 2 times 5. And just a reminder that when you have a factor tree, you're only looking at the very bottom of the branches. So at the very bottom of the tree are the factors. So we're not looking at 9 or 10 anymore. Just 3 times 3 times 2 times 5. Okay, factor 20. Let's go with 2 times 10. And that's 2 times 5. We do some work to get the LCD from scratch. All right. One of the factors is 3. This has 2 3s. This has 2 3s. No 3s over here. So we're going to choose 2 of the factor 3. Multiply those together. Looking through, we've got the factor 2. It's here and here. This fraction has 2 2's in the denominator. This has only 1 2. So we're going to pick 2 of the factor 2. All right. 3's. 3, 3, 2. Here's a 5. There's a 5. There's a 1 5 here, 1 5 there. We pick just 1 5. And let's see, what's this number? 9 times 4 times 5. What's 9 times 20? 180. So what do we do now? We take every single fraction, multiply numerators and denominators by any factors that are missing from your LCD. So we're kind of going to look at this part, but end up with that as our denominator. There's just an issue of having a small whiteboard. So from here, we're going to put the next step right there, and then I need to erase and make room. So 2 9ths times a fraction that's made up of missing factors from here. So we've got 3 and 3. We need a 2 times 2 times 5. Plus. Okay, 1 over 90 times. The 3, the 3, the 2, the 5. 2 and a 5. So we're missing a factor of 2. Okay. Minus 3/20. 20 has the 2, the 5, this. So you need 3 times 3 from the LCD, or 9/9. All right, this one is, let's see. Oh, I was just thinking, and it's a good thing to share too. I was like, oh, let's cancel common factors. No, we built this all up to get to the next step. We don't want to undo the work we just did. We want to just multiply all of this and get 180 in the denominator. And all of them are going to be 180. Let's set that up right now. Back here. 2 times 2 is 4. And this is multiplied with 10, so I've got 40. Please check my work. Let me know if you see mistakes. In this numerator, 2 times 1 is 2. This last numerator, 3 times 9 is 27. Okay, so 40 plus 2 minus 27 is all in the numerator. I'll put it at the top. Okay, so next step is 4 plus 2 minus 27 over 20. Okay, so 42 minus 27 is what? Anybody have it? Not I can find it. Not a super fast calculator, but I do have a cell phone.
It's 15.
Cool, thank you. Perfect. And we want to simplify this if we can, which you can see this has a factor of 5 and this has a factor of 5. So let's start factoring the numerator and denominator and reduce common factors. Okay, cool. And then we'll have an answer and then we're done with class. So thank you everybody for sticking to the end of class. We made it to 15 is 3 times 5 over 20. It's 18 times 10. And 10 has 2 times 5. 5 times 36. Okay, and 36 has a factor of 3. So 3 over 3 times 12. And I've got 1 over 12 as my final answer. That should be the end of today's notes. Okay, so we're done recording. And